Notre Dame just blew out USC yesterday, 48-20. I was parked at a bar in downtown Seattle watching this go down, and I just had a little subtle smile on my face. Now, before the peristyle over at uscfootball.com freaks out and thinks that I was rooting against you guys, no, I wasn't, but I thought some things were in play here, and they ended up being validated. So you know that saying, you are what your record says you are? It's trash. In college football, it's trash. It always has been. It's very much a case-by-case thing. People say it all the time to sound cool. It's bumper sticker logic. It passes the test of driving by you, but if you think critically about it, So last week, I come on the show Tuesday. I dropped the JP poll, and then the piranhas go crazy. But you know what no one pointed out? No one. I was surprised by this. No one noticed last week that we had 2-loss Notre Dame power rated above undefeated USC. You see, the AP had USC 10th. They had Notre Dame 21st last week. Couldn't be us, friends. Couldn't be us. We had Notre Dame 15th. We had USC all the way down at 17. The model's been selling all its stock on USC. I had some folks come at me last night and say, well, Josh, everyone knew this was coming. No, you didn't. You did not. Everyone didn't know this was coming. The way I know that is because this point spread sat still all week. And I had some folks call me out about that power rating last week. So no, everyone didn't know this. But to quickly tee this up, and then let's dive into this, let's just hit the rewind button, Colin, a few days ago. Roll it. It's another potential odds-making clinic setting up because you got undefeated top 10 USC here. You got the defending Heisman winner. They're going on the road to face 2-loss Notre Dame, just lost at Louisville. They scored a garbage time touchdown to even get back to within 2 possessions. Notre Dame's favored. Love the Irish this week. Love them to get right up off the deck. I think they'll win the game. I think they'll cover. I think there are some terminal issues for USC in their defense right now. Sometimes we nail it so much I have to fan myself. So here's the thing. I got some good stuff to say about USC. Listen to this. USC, 23-13 first down edge. That's good job, guys. 1 thumb up. Way to go. 302 to 251 yardage advantage over Notre Dame. Excellent. Gold sticker for you. They ran 25 more plays. Control that ball, control that clock, control the game. They were 6 of 13 on third down. Notre Dame was only 3 of 10. Those are Badlock stats. Those are not Padlock stats because the Padlock stat is -5 turnovers with another 2 turnovers on downs. It is Sarah McLachlan's special time. Roll it, Colin. The drive chart for your USC Trojans last night sounded as follows. Interception. Punt, field goal, turnover on downs, interception, field goal, punt, touchdown, woo, punt, touchdown, woo, turnover on downs, fumble. Why are you quiet, Josh? Well, it's because that was the end of the game. Caleb Williams threw 3 interceptions last year. He threw 3 of them last night. And it's not all his fault. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you as always. It's not all his fault. He was running for his life last night, and running was not something that he did to the tune of a whole lot of yardage. Talked about that as well. When you're physically superior to a team, you just flex. And that's what Notre Dame did last night. They were physically superior to USC. They knew it. Marcus Freeman knew it. I think pretty soon the whole country knew it. And they just flexed. They just looked in the side of the mirror. They puffed up that chest and they flexed. They had 6 sacks. They had 11 tackles for loss. USC had 1 tackle for loss. Notre Dame's a good team. All the external dynamics notwithstanding. Like we told you they were going to lose to Louisville last week. It was a horrible spot for them. Now, I am a believer kind of psychologically in this thing. I can't prove it. I can't quantify it. But when you're on a run like Notre Dame was, they played Ohio State right down to the wire, they lost. They go to Duke, and it's right down to the wire, and they win. By the 3rd week, you're trying to get college kids up for a 3rd consecutive week emotionally, and you're facing another team, and it's their Super Bowl. It was just a bad spot for them. However, I'm a believer that once the bomb goes off, once the loss happens in that stretch, the reset button is hit. So it's not purely a physical exhaustion thing. This is my philosophy on this. If it were purely a physical exhaustion thing, they would have still been running on empty last night. They weren't. They looked like they had been shot out of a cannon. And they were the ones forcing all the mistakes. They were the ones living in the opponent's backfield. So I don't know. Anyone out there who understands the intricacies of the human mind and psyche, if you want to pair up and let's work on something, and let's try and put some data behind this in the what the casuals would call the off season. We can work on that. Defense, special teams. USC is a fragile team. They're a hollow team. USC feels like a hollow team, kind of. Offense gets all the attention out there, seemingly at the expense of defense, seemingly at the expense of special teams. I know in reality they practice all this stuff like everyone else does, but you become what you're intentional about. They're not intentional about being good defensively. They are not intentional about being rock solid on special teams. Because if they were intentional about it, they wouldn't accept this. And again, I'm not suggesting Lincoln Riley has his feet propped up watching this replay, watching this film today going, ugh, oh well, what can you do? I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting there's a physicality and there's a mentality that you have to play this game with to win at the highest levels or compete at the highest levels. They don't have it. USC does not have that. And they're about to go to the Big Ten next year. And I say that like the Pac-12, some joke this year. That's why they're probably not done losing in the Pac-12 this year. Need to understand something. They had layups the first half dozen games of their season. That's done now. Like last night was the start of the downhill slope of the roller coaster. They got Utah. They got Washington, they got Oregon, they got UCLA. All these teams can beat them. Every one of those teams can beat them if they don't find something inside themselves pretty quick. It's until further notice, it feels like there's a restrictor plate on the USC program. Kind of self-imposed too, because Southern Cal can be whatever they want to be. Lincoln Riley can have whatever kind of staff he wants to have. He's chosen to have what he has right now, and therefore the product is what it is right now. It shouldn't be a surprise. Some of the struggles they're having right now are the same struggles that he had at Oklahoma. Now, you flip that coin over, I'm also always the one to say, as I've said a million times before, so this will be 1,000,001, just because something hasn't been yet doesn't mean it can't be. Lincoln Riley's still a pretty young coach. Maybe he evolves himself. I hope he evolves himself. You know, to get selfish on you for a second, it's in my best interest for USC to be good. Financially, it's in our best interest for them to be good, but I'm not going to sit here and lie to you about them. We have too many other things to talk about on the show. So Notre Dame, hats off. Notre Dame can still be a really good team this year. I think they are a really good team. I just think football happened to them. I think football happened. And football happened last night as well. Like all that just happened over the past few weeks, that's how this game actually works. That's how the external factors come in play. That's how bounce of ball happens. That's how the randomization of turnovers can bite you one way or the other. That's football.